Right, our first slide consists of Deadline Productions presents, and the deadline bit is a pun because the dead represents death, and the line in the eye we have a man hanging from a noose, which obviously represents death as our genre is horror. Our second slide is a mid shot of Alice, who will be the victim, i.e. main character in our film, and non-diegetic music will creep over to raise tensions in this part of the film. Third slide is a long shot, an establishing shot of the surroundings, with ambient sounds playing in to represent the nature of the setting, as it'll be outdoors and quite deserted. Fourth shot will have another component of the title sequence, with Alice in black bold writing, which is the name of our film, which will then follow on to the fifth slide, which will be a long shot with deep focus, which will show the empty chair that Alice will be sitting in, and the empty, rusty chair staircase, which will give the old-fashioned tone of our setting, as it's a derelict building. Sixth shot we have is a long shot of the abandoned Tunstall Courthouse, which will effectively be shot and edited in negative and oversaturated colours to contrast and add the effect of the disorientation amongst the audience, and at the same time there'll be eerie, non-diegetic sounds. Seventh slide, we'll come back to the title sequences, where we will show to the audience that our editor is Jordan Crosby. This will then cross-cut back to the action, where we will have a high-angle shot panning Alice when she is tied against the drain pipe. And this, at the same time, will also have more non-diegetic music to heighten the tensions. Ninth slide will be a close-up of Alice, as we introduced more to the character in depth, and we see her facial emotions. Also, at this point, we will have jump cuts in and jump cuts out to disorientate the audience, as she looks as though she's jerking her head about. 10th slide, we'll come back to the title sequences with the cinematography by Stephen Hegarty. This will then go back to the action in our 11th slide, which will show a noose hanging between the staircase and the chair, which will represent death. And this is a component of horror in our film. 12th slide will ultimately be the turning point in our film, as Alice is shown in a close-up / mid shot hanging from a noose, but we don't know if she's actually dead at this point. But the camera will be panning her, and we'll be able to see her from different angles, so we're hoping that should have effect. 13th slide cuts back to the title sequences, which shows Jonathan Miles Evans is the producer. And then this slowly follows on to the main character Alice lying on a ball on the floor. This is to confuse the audience as to whether she's actually dead or she's just hurt herself. And also the mise-en-scene at this point is that there's broken glass on the floor, so that could show that the place is abandoned also. The 15th slide shows that she's walking through trees. At this point she'll be in War Jackson Park, which is the second location of our film setting, and ultimately where she's having her flashbacks, and at this point the audience will not know if she's dead or not. And the last slide we have is the last slide of the title sequences, which will show Brett Egan as the director of the film, and that is the end of our storyboard.
Good night, God bless.